Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, and today we'll be continuing our Inmates of Hell series on the Beast Pirates by talking about one of their strongest members, their third highest ranking member, in fact, and as of course, Queen, the Plague! Funk, 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 funk. Should have reread the song and dance from Queen, but whatever. It's an anime song. It's not really that it's not gonna work as well in English as it does in Japanese, probably. At least I think so. I don't know. So yeah, in today's we'll be talking about Queen, and yeah, I'm kind of. This is like one of those. To me, this is like one of those. I don't hate it. I don't hate him. I don't have a very low opinion on it. It's kind of like Sarah Paul Grants in my opinion in terms of Beast Pirates. Where like I do not dislike the guy. It's not like I want to put him amongst the worst Espada, or in this case the worst Beast Pirates, but I'm not exactly gonna put him, on the higher end. It's more likely to be in the like lower, like it's more likely to be. This is where I transition from I dislike to I lie, but it's nothing special kind of deals with him. So, which to be fair, in the Beast Boss, he might actually be only outside of Sasaki. I don't think I mean, I guess I could probably put Who's Who below him as well, but well, anyways, Queen. Let's first start with Queen's backstory, and Queen's backstory is, I think, one of the more explained or shown to us, mostly because it was a cover page, including with Vegapunk and all that. Since I'm not sure how much we're gonna get this in the anime, but in during the previous cover story was about the history with Mads. So although we don't have to include it or explain it as SBS, so he had like a cover story with them as we see Queen, George, Caesar, Buckingham, Stacy, and Vegapunk all together. And that's where we see Queen and we get stuff from him. So Queen was a scientist working under the world government and all that, which was something that was stated beforehand, I believe. By just kind of more showing us how exactly it works. I think they were first working with the underworld, but then eventually they kind of got Vegapunk got in contact with the Gorosei, and that's how all that thing went. And Queen was there and was a scientist, and he developed some of the poisons that he was using. But Vegapunk was bad. I feel like Queen is probably like the worst of those greatest five, greatest four songs. He's easily the worst if you don't include the circumstances that is Stacy. But he was there, and after the Mads disbanded because, well, sorry, I'm not entirely certain how the whole thing went because I don't think it was straight up said how they were disbanded. I think it was like one of those things where like Vegapunk was considered number one, but then who was number two, and they fought over that. I don't think there was an answer. It's been a while since I saw the cover page. I mean, I can't even remember what the final cover page was. But guys, they were kind of fighting amongst each other who was the second. And I think sometime after that, that's when they disbanded with Judge going to Germa to use his science for all those things. And then I that's when and Queen. Well, I think Queen just ended up joining the Ninkaido. I don't. It's not that difficult to believe how they met. Queen got connected in the underworld. They probably just came to him and they were like, "Do you want to join?" And Queen was like, "Yeah, sure sounds funking." And he went, joined them, and was alongside King, one of the commanders during the takeover of Wano, and even participated in the battles of Wano, and more majorly than Jack did, because in the anime they actually did include Queen showing up there, and he used some kind of torch like weapon. I'm assuming there was something special about it, but kind of that I think that was the only thing is he participated in the takeover and all that stuff, and it never became the leader of Udon, the region with the prison mines and all that. So yeah, I'm assuming he also became in charge of Udon because of so he could experiment more freely on with his toxic weapons as well as they holding more of the prisoners under control since they seem to have more of a Queen seems to be more proficient in that type of stuff. Like Jack's big and broody and powerful, strong, but he is not but you just gotta get beat down from him, and King I feel like just too much of a quick killer, so Queen torching people to submission does make sense, and yeah. That's about it for Queen's backstory. Then we get to his in story. So in story, we first see him as he and King are chastising Jack after in end of part one of Wano, and then he takes a more. I want to say he takes a bit more of a front step during the second part where he's this all-star that Luffy meets, and it's actually the first actually. Not I was Queen like the only all-star that Luffy actually interacts with and meets in the story, because I don't think he interacts or sees Jack ever. And King, I think he probably starts seeing King, and maybe he interacts with when he's trying to get to the top, but I don't think they are gonna have anything major. But he does meet Queen as he's causing a ruckus, as we have King showing up in the Uda mine, and he's asking, "Oh, hey, tell me three things that are wrong in there," which kind of implies to me that there are usually three things that are the problem. As he has like, "All right, what's the third? What's the second? What's the first?" And he goes over everything, and Bob Manuki goes over everything, and everyone has like a crazy reaction. Like, you just get to say, "What?" Second problem, what was the second problem? I'm kind of blanking on what the second thing was right now, but uh, Luffy attempted escape. What? How did you prevent? Why did you allow it? Yeah, doing that. And then the third one is like Luffy is going to attack escape. Like, go get him! So we have that, like, again, he's more a comical member of the Beast Pirates, and then we have Luffy and Hyo being brought to Queen, as you know, the whole restraints and ports and all that. As Queen forces Luffy and Hyo to into like a sumo arena, but Luffy is so much more powerful right now that no one he puts up against in a battle arena, it really matters. Like the first group, I think Luffy just conquers Hockeys to sleep, and then other ones he just uses like a armor hockey practice. Like, damn it, I am not knocking this out with the right form of hockey. Actually, no, I think he understands. I mean, they changed this a bit in the anime, but Luffy and Old Man Hyo fight against like an armadillo and a like what is it called? I'm forgetting it. A camo, I believe, small users, and Luffy tries to knock the armadillo out with almond hockey. It's almond hockey, but it does not. But he doesn't do it in the right way because he just does standard almond hockey, like punch in the face kind of deal with the coding. So Old Man Hyo just kind of takes a Master Yoda thing with him, where he shows what the advanced almond hockey is, although they use a different term for it, on the camel, and Luffy tries that with him lecturing and doing the whole thing. How you have to do advanced almond hockey. And doing that, Queen's kind of annoyed the fact that there's no real like progression. Like they are starving them out and all that, but there's no progression at all. There's just Luffy knocking them all out with the and saying, "Damn, this isn't the almond hockey that I want." And turned out to be, I think the next day actually, it's revealed that Kid and Killer were captured because Kid wanted to, recklessly charge in to save Killer, as they were just bullying him with holes and all that stuff because no one could really, because Kid couldn't really fight back because he had the restraints on, so no protection. Not saying what he didn't use almond hockey in that. It's just like one of those things where Olaf seems to forget that almond hockey exists for certain characters. Let's be straight honest to ourselves. If there's one thing we've learned from the Beast Pirates, namely the Wano arc, is that the arm and hockey only truly matters with Luffy and characters who can only use arm and hockey for combat because they do not have the other abilities. As soon as you have some other trick ability or the other ability, you're essentially arm and hockey non-existent type of character. So yeah, Luffy. So yeah, they bring King and Killer, and then that's where the scheme that Queen gets, and that's like, all right, you can. We're gonna have Kid and Killer be drowned to death. So if you wanna do anything, you have to participate. You have to win and take over and everything. Get rid of the cost and everything very quickly, like now. As then to force this their hand, but during that time, Big Mom shows up, and that kind of takes priorities. As then, Queen tries to stop her, but it's very clear that he cannot do anything. Like, he's able to, a. He's able, Big Mom pretty, easily knocks Queen down, a punch down to the earth. And then, just chunking his body around like a rag doll. Doesn't knock them out, but it's, one of those things where it's, Big Mom is so, so nerfed that it doesn't really matter. And he tries to knock her out as he falls full Brachiosaurus weight on top of her. And that somewhat works, but just barely, as then as she falls asleep. Oh, she just falls asleep. She's like, put every single neutralizer in her, and then chain her up, and then we'll drag her to Kara, because Kara's the only one that can actually probably beat her. Like, even with all that, I feel like she would probably, even with Sabers and stuff on her, she would physically shrink, normal mindset, easily beat the shit off Queen. So it's just take her to Kaido, and then that's how, we use that to, have Queen be defeated by Luffy, so he can be in Onigashima thing, and then he stays in Onigashima, where he's kind of like the comic relief character, being comical with King, and be like, try to get away from the Onigashima, hey, Babanuki, you need help, yeah, you need help, I know you need help, I'll come right there, yeah, right. You probably want juices, I get juices, okay, we are lacking refreshments. Well, try to get away from it just because Kaido and Big Mom are doing God knows what in Kaido's sleeping chamber, so he tries to get away from it. As then we have him have a comical reaction to the alliance. He's like, what? And that's kind of the end. As then we cut to the Fire Festival, where he's the main entertainer, because amongst the higher ranks, he's the only one that actually, it's kind of like gets the party atmosphere, the funky dance and all that stuff. He's the only one who does this, because King and Jack are too stoic. And Toby Roper also a lot more stoic in the videos. In fact, there's a little joke with him where he's roll calling all of the Beast Pirates members, and he's like, Toby Roper, as there's no response, as he's like, those jackasses never respond anyways, I was just making fun of them. Because everyone else, even the animalistic giant beasts that are the numbers, at least they roar in response when they're called. Well, they probably don't even, interact with him. It might just be the fact that only one of them might actually have a loud voice. I don't think any of the rest actually are capable of screaming, now I think about it. Maybe who screams a bit, but I don't exactly remember if that was loud. But yeah, he's there participating in all the events as he sees Luffy is starting chaos and be like, what the heck is going on right now? As he's kind of just takes the opportunity to place a bounty in the first hints of them knowing that something's up with the Tobiropo, which is kind of a thing where who's who implies that he wants to kind of eliminate Queen, and this is where Queen wants to eliminate one of the Tobiropo and kind of think, oh, these two want to kill each other, while in reality they want to take care of Drake. And that's kind of thing. He kind of announces the whole whoever takes down Luffy becomes the next Tobiropo. As in after that, he and who's who, and kind of Basil also go to deal with Drake. I think Basil is just kind of there because he knows what's gonna happen. He's just kind of yeah, we'll take it out. Which is even funny in the anime, because in the anime we actually do have who's who and Drake's initial confrontation of Queen as we're going down, but then turn the tables and all that stuff on Queen. On Drake, and yeah, they're about to kill Drake, but Drake realizes that shit's kind of going in the headband, so he decides to join. So he gets out of the room and goes join forces with Destroyer somewhat, and then it's completely irrelevant for the rest of the arc. And then Queen just kind of stays there to I want to say to help their forces in the main hall, but he kind of just loses allies because he uses the ice only virus gun and turns everyone into we'll talk about the power set later, but he uses the ice only gun to turn them into ice only, and then gives a pool a little medicine to the only antidote, but to have kind of go into a bit of a chaos and rampage and going up against everyone. as Queen takes that opportunity for anyone to you have the Samurai Onigabanshu and the Muregiwai Gumi kind of like protecting Apu, kind of like siding with them to making sure that they do not get turned to ice viruses and all that, so they win. But it doesn't work. Apu gets, I believe, either sliced by Zoro or Extract, one of the two, and gets the message taken away. Give it to Chopper, and he makes a cure for everyone, so everyone turns back. And then the Beast Pies got turned into ice only, got angry, and then they betray, go against Queen, and then kind of go fight the rest of the Beast Pies who I guess for some reason didn't wanna go up against Queen. Not entirely certain why he still had allies after that little stunt. Like, I mean, I get the reason why that. I mean, I'm not saying that every single Beast Pie would turn against Beast Pies because of this. Like, they probably do know Queen's that type of guy like, who would turn his old like. I think he said waiters are useless and the smiles are basically used. So this ice only device is more useful, would be more useful of a weapon in the than all those guys come together. So why exactly did any of them still want to sign and fight alongside Queen is beyond me, but they do for some reason. And so for some reason they don't just immediately get defeated at that point. I feel like there's still some fighting on the Beast Pirates for Queen and all that. It's mostly because otherwise it would be literally every single samurai, every single strider that was there, every single Beast Pirate that was still there would probably just jump on Queen while Queen was alone basically with only Sparrow providing air support with his arrows. So Queen was just kind of there. Queen's kind of like the one I think we focused the most on the fighting in the like before the final real confrontations, as he just kind of gets slammed around, causing some racket, some damage, and yeah, until we get to like the splitting up portion with Sanji and Queen fighting off, and Queen and King, well, Zoro and King fighting off. Where before we first have the two kind of like looking like it's gonna be a duo fight, with us getting first real like hints at King is well. We get confirmations that Sanji with the judge and Queen got were working together. Like, hey, you judge's son, aren't you? We smoke Sanji. Oh, I want to test things out. I have things that I need to test out to shoot. I'm superior to him, and stuff like that. And we find out these things that he wants to test are basically he's copying Judge's work. So we have Queen going a little bit about fighting against Sanji, but during the fight between with Sanji realizes that more and more his body is becoming like his siblings, and he doesn't kind of want to deal with this, so he runs away from the fight. Well, runs away, just like clear his head about the whole thing because like when you're getting crushed and the only result is the same as your brothers when they get crushed, you gotta be kind of concerned on that front. So yeah, Sanji kind of runs away around a bit, and Queen follows Sam. As then there's like a Oiron that's there, and Queen liked that Oiron, but she refused them. So he slams her down, but Sanji believes it was him because he didn't see anything. Because Queen also has Sanji's invisibility ability, so Queen cause that little thing, and then Sanji again has a bit of an identity crisis. As then Queen and then Sanji kind of resolves himself. You know what? If I become like my brothers, a cold, emotionless warrior that just fights by the order, even though that might be useful for Luffy, I don't want to live like this, and Luffy doesn't want me to live like this. So, if I don't end up being like myself, please kill me. And so it's like, oh, I don't get it, but fine, I'll kill you if you don't act like yourself. And then that Oil again comes because he has like a pat mouse, and he wants to go to kill her. I guess he first thought the first hit was going to be enough to kill her, but it didn't. So he goes again to kill her, but Sanji realizes what Queen did. Actually, he disappeared because he moved so fast doing that, but Queen got distracted with that Oiron. So he goes in to slam her, but Sanji shows up and knocks Queen's away. As that Oiron's like, oh, Master Queen, he appeared there. So he was kind of like thinking, oh, he turned invisible. That he slammed me. He wasn't the Alliance member because there's like a thing because Oirons just kind of wanted to hit and stay safe because they are part of this. They are innocent in all this. They're civilians in a case. So Queen, and we are like the final chapter for the fight between Sanji and Queen, as they have like a little confrontation and clashing a bit. As Queen does, he has a few tags, but Sanji just overpowers Queen because Queen's entire kind of repertoire is like he's. I'm not gonna say Queen is weak, but if I had to scale, Queen is more like Queen is as dangerous because of the gimmicks rather than being individually physically powerful. Like he can blast, he can poison, he can cause all that amount of damage, but when it comes to individual, power fight, it's not that big. Like it feels significantly stronger than the equipment that Queen uses. You can probably deal with him relatively quickly. Just kind of get around the tricks, and you can just like cut the arm off and send him flying. And that's what Sanji does. He goes, I think, goes some special double jump thing. In fact, he uses blue flame, I believe, and just kicks Queen, knocks him from his Zoan form, and just makes him fly from Onigashima straight to the ground. And Queen lands in Udon, and not the prison, just Udon region. And yeah, that's the last time we see him in the war. Next time we see him is in Udon prison, where I think that he and well, the way it's at least shown, it seems to be made look like after King and Queen's defeats, they kind of went to Udon prison to like lick their wounds and find out what the heck happened. As then they just kind of stayed there to I guess kind of regroup kind of deal. But then Maki shows up as he then it's shown the kind of like the he showed up first to like upper hand them, but they kind of tried to fight back, but they were kind of useless in the fight. They were easily beaten and upper handed. Like depending on how you view it, they will either nerf because they were still recovering, or it's guys like one of those debatable off screen matches. Like how did the thing go? Were they just extremely weakened, which in the end is shown better with them. Being still bandaged up and then like Queen going to his Baraka hybrid form and blasting, but then immediately going back to his normal form. So it's more obvious in the apparent in the anime that they were still recovering and all that. So they were easily, but still they were easily beaten by Amaki, so it doesn't matter. And I would say that one admiral could probably defeat two commanders, maybe not as easily as it was shown for Amaki off screen if they were like fully recharged, but you could probably say that he would be able, but I don't think that it's that crazy to think, even though you may not like Armaki, I feel like he would be able to win, but still. And that's kind of the last time we see Queen. Maybe Queen will, I'm not sure entirely if Armaki, like, after Shanks scared him away, if he uh, just went to back to collect King and Queen, because he did capture them, and he did call for a battleship to approach one, so I could see him going, just to be safe, going to King and Queen, grabbing a Neptunian, flying to the nearest battleship, and to at least, like, get some victory out of his embarrassment by Shanks' hands. So yeah, if not that, then I feel like we're gonna see him in the new cover story, because now new cover story is focusing on is going back to Wano. I'm not entirely sure if it's maybe gonna be a history of Wano yet, or if it's gonna be like just generally what's going around, going in Wano. We'll see when it comes to it, but I could see us if Queen is still in Wano. I think we're gonna see him there, and if he's and if not, then I think he's in Uda. He's probably being sent to Impel Down, which we might cut back to it, since I believe Marco and Bucky and Stacy are going to Impel Down to save Weevil if he's already there. So I could see like another prison break. A lot of people were thinking there is gonna be another prison break because of everything that's going on with Marco and Bucky going to save Weevil, Weevil being sent to Impel Down. You have Doflamingo, well, keep getting involved, and it kind of makes sense that Weevil and and if we have Weevil and Doflamingo, we could kind of get like them joining Cross Guild, since Cross Guild is very underpowered now. So maybe we're gonna have that, and who knows? Maybe King and Queen might also take that slot, like they may have been Warlords, but maybe they're gonna be, a part of that instead, because there's like nowhere else to go, or maybe Queen is gonna somehow end up back with the Neomats, because Caesar and Judge married each other, and now they form Neomats. I know that it's supposed to be a birth anniversary, but it looks like a fucking marriage. Even the fucking soldiers reacted like they were, yes, congratulations, George, on your new husband. So yeah, we'll see on that front. But that's it. Now let's go into his design, personality, and fighting style and all that. So let's go with the design. Queen is, I would say, a lot less of a serious looking member. Like a lot of Beast Pirates and Air Officers do look a lot more serious than most, but Queen has, like, I wouldn't say the goofiest design. Even though it's still pretty intimidating. Like, he is basically a big, round biker guy, as you can see, with a robotic arm. Not sure if he cut his own arm, or if that's just a more detailed arm that he did. Because I do believe both of his arms are actually scientifically designed. As he also has like a Beast Bite tattoo on his left, no, right arm, no, his left arm. He also has blonde hair, a bit of a mustache, kind of look like a scorpion type of thing, which I think was actually the theory at the beginning, because like he might be a scorpion, like maybe all the members of the Beast Pirates might have. All stars might have like a thing where they one represents ancient, one represents normal, one represents a mythical, but it's just kind of like an interesting design. It's like Memory Queen was originally supposed to have had like a scorpion zone, but then they just decided to go with a design aesthetic a bit. And yeah, he also likes like just wears like overalls and all that. So that's it. And when he goes into his dinosaur forms, he just becomes like a giant. Well, he keeps his little biker glasses and his Brachiosaurus form, but he's the only thing unique to there is like his color schemes. I believe a more orange yellow type of color scheme. And in the hybrid form, he just has like still has like that very long neck, which is fine because he doesn't actually have he doesn't appear to have a neck when he's in his no Kume form. I think it's like one of those where he's so fat that you can't see his neck anymore. And he just has like a longer neck as well as his tail, hair. I believe his hair as well as both his arms become like mechanical because of his experimentation. So I guess he is almost completely mechanical. And yeah, no, in terms of personality, like I said, he's a very cruel but also kind of funny individual. Like he makes jokes, he dances, he entertains people, but he's also a very cool individual because of his, his mommy toxin, his only talk for ice only toxins. Like those are very like cruel experiments. Like those are very slow and painful deaths that are, very like you can still move, still functional, but you're still like slowly dying. Like you're slowly becoming a mummy. You're slowly becoming an ice only, and you lose everything. And it's very easy to spread because like just by touch, which is kind of the extent of the plague title, though. And yeah. And yeah, generally, he is a funny character, but compared to the others, I don't think he really works, especially since, he does a lot of very dumb stuff. And it's kind of like one of those moments that really helps the Lords beat them because he pretty much turned, I want to say, half of the people on the first floor against them. Like, you know how the CP9 engines go, or CP0 engines go through the numbers? It's like not only are they taking down all of the forces from the Beast Wars, but they also like have all the forces join this alliance, and then it's just like the Beast Wars are going more and more down, and that's kind of his fault. So yeah. Anyways, then we go to Queen's flying style, which Queen's flying style is, I feel like due to the time period where the one arc takes place, unfortunately, during the pandemic and all that, I think because of that, Queen's flying style had to be changed a bit. So I think his power set was a bit changed because all he uses is like the mummy and the oni, and that's kind of all that he does throughout the entire arc. He might mention another one of his experiments, another one of his bullets, but then his Gatling gun, the one that he used for the ice, so he got destroyed. So maybe he didn't have any anymore. But yeah, not to mention the fact that I also feel like it may and OG not have been planned for him to be the Plague because Jack used Caesar's gas weapon. You'd think someone named the Plague should be able to develop its own toxic weapon, so Jack would not have to buy it. Or maybe he didn't want to ask for poison weapons from Queen because he'll probably be charged up. Why the fuck do you need my work to succeed in your stupid mission? Do you drag the drag down? So yeah, Queen's poisons are not that good because what he actually uses mostly in the fight are like his lasers and copying others' attacks. Like basically, Queen's entire is he's very cyborg in the design of that, and what he uses, namely against Sanjay at least, is like a lot of he basically just copies all of Judge's work. He copies his German, like his class that he has as his Source form. He copies for Yonji. I believe he also uses Niji's electricity at one point, but I can't remember exactly how much. I'm not sure if the lasers are supposed to be like Ichiji's or if they are supposed to be Pacifista, but he's using one of them. Pacifista, but he does say he's using all of them. Not sure if he ever uses the Regius abilities, but the Regius abilities are kind of more on the seductive sense than a normal sense. But regardless, I'm assuming he also uses them as well as Sanji's invisibility, which is funny enough comes more from a suit. But we know that the abilities that the German civilians have come from their abilities, and I actually don't think we ever see Sanji using this ability since then. He's just so fast without the suit, but whatever. Basically, he just copies there, which again kind of which he actually has like this whole thing where he's like, I want to prove them bastards by copying, by doing everything Judge did, but copying on my soul, which just sounds like you're copying another guy's work, and you might do it a bit more impressive if you consider the fact he used different technology on himself. But I don't know, I would consider Judge's work to be more impressive than your Queen. But it doesn't really matter because Sun just beats him again. Queen, like I said, Queen has a lot of tricks that makes it really difficult for most opponents to take down. But if you are someone that is on the level of strength, you could probably take Queen out. It's not that big of a deal. Like most of the weapons that he uses, I don't even could defeat that many of Cracker's biscuit armors. Like I don't like if Cracker collect a bunch of those armors. Okay, I don't think Queen's attacks would actually be able to take down that many of them. Like maybe his full Brachiosaurus form might be able to crush a few, but most I don't think so. Oh yeah, another thing that Queen has is his like it's totally accurate dinosaur trait, which is the fact that he can the Brachiosaurs hunted by using their hat, well, their body is like they put their the necks and tails in a straight line and shoot their hats and their entire den to become like serpents to wrap around his opponents and crush them to death. Because that's totally what Brachiosaurus did in the ancient times. As it also revealed that he developed a he because if you lose your because Brachiosaurus in a total realistic sense, its body is after they lose their neck, head, neck, and tail are kind of like useless shells. So Queen developed like some cannons on it. So when he says a trigger word, they'll start shooting at their target to blow them up. But honestly, considering how much the body is covered, I don't know why he would have it be designed that way. Like I think that's actually how Sanjay escapes when he's being crushed by it. Where it's like he's first praising how his snake squashing thing is so strong that even the greatest armored hockey users, as if beast parts have great armored hockey users, cannot handle it. But then Sanjay is just but he just has that kind of blast. I guess he wanted the cats to blast at Sanji, but he just ended up blasting him because he covers most of the place because he's wrapping around Sanji. I mean, another thing he proved there is that Germa siblings' bodies are superior to Arm and Hockey when you really think about it because Sanji's just gonna like weirdly contort like Okay, can someone use enough force to knock my limbs back into the right places? That'd be great, yes. Oh, yeah, okay. No, I'm back normal. It's good, I'm back normal. Well, I'm a hockey user will just get crushed to death, so. Point to George! He's such a genius that he makes arm and hockey look insignificant. Or look inferior. Applause to George, everyone! So yeah, Queen didn't do that. Because Queen just copied the extra features from the German siblings. Because Queen is a worse scientist. I'm not gonna let that down. I'm not gonna let Queen down on that. He wanted to be the greatest scientist, or at least better than Judge, and everything he did was just copy an inferior version of Judge's work. Bravo, Queen. Bravo. So yeah, that's about it for the post. And again, tricks and all more unique and more interesting than Jax, but I would say it's like a less effective, honestly. Well, depending on opponents, it's less effective. So yeah, that's it. And I think that's all I want to say. I've already went what I think was for the future Queen, and I mean, all jokes aside, I would not be angry if Queen does return. I wouldn't mind it, but again, it's like I don't really know how it would work and where he would really fall. It's kind of like King. If he returns, I get it. It doesn't even make sense, but how is he gonna click back into play? Like at least other ones, I can kind of see like joining some faction that would fight alongside Luffy, if not being on the side of Luffy, like the big one parts with Karakuri taking in charge. But eh. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you like this Inmate of Hell episode, and I hope you are ready for the next, for the final two, the penultimate King, the Wildfire, and the final one, Kaido of the 100 Beasts. I hope you're excited. That's because you know I am. Anyways, with that said, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Don't forget to comment if you want to see a certain villain being discussed in the Inmate of Hell series. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you people in the next video. Goodbye.